It's recognized widely that Catholic hospitals bring something special to healthcare in the province and in the country. The elements of the faith-based mission, the legacy of service to the vulnerable and marginalized communities is critical in healthcare because by and large those are the people that are coming to all hospitals as people who are marginalized or vulnerable in some way or another. And that's always been a core of the mission of Catholic hospitals, Hotel Dieu in particular. The sisters came here and answered a calling to set up an orphanage and tend to the sick, the homeless, the poor in this community. And they built Hotel Dieu Hospital from nothing into what it is today.
In 1630, Jerome Leroy de la Versière had an unexpected religious experience when God asked him to found a religious congregation of sisters to care for the poor, sick, and needy, and to found a colony on the island of Montreal, which would be served by these sisters. Because of Jerome's deep faith, he was undaunted by these tasks and had the good fortune of recruiting several people to help him fulfill his mission. And one of these people was Marie de la Fère. In 1636, she co-founded with Jerome Leroy the Religious Hospitallers of St. Joseph, the congregation of sisters who serve Hotel Dieu Hospital site to this day. Jeanne Mance is important to the story of Hotel Dieu Hospital because her mission intertwined with the mission of Jerome Leroy de la Versière. She was a courageous French nurse who had dedicated her life to God and had a special gift of recognizing God's presence in others. In 1642, she co-founded the settlement of Montreal and established a small hospital there. 17 years later, Jerome sent 3 sisters from France to nurse with Jeanne Mance. That was the start of our sisters caring for the sick and needy in Canada. From the mid-1600s, the story of Jerome, Marie, and Jeanne Mance jumps ahead 200 years to 1845, when the Catholic Bishop of Kingston asked the sisters in Montreal to help with the healthcare needs of the needy in this city. Not long after, 3 religious hospitallers of St. Joseph landed by boat to open Hotel Dieu Hospital.
The history of Hotel Dieu Hospital is fascinating. It began actually across the street from this current location. And for 45 years, that block of row houses was the modest beginning of Hotel Dieu Hospital. In 1890, the sisters bought the Regiopolis College on Sydenham Street. And that was with the intention that the hospital would continue to grow and services would have to be expanded. And it's in position with the core of downtown. It was the location closest to the most needy in the city. And that was important to remain near those who were underprivileged, underserved, and required attention.
Each day, we strive to make our mission visible. It is more than a plaque on a wall. It is rooted in the fabric of our lives, especially as we nurture and live it by the ways we care for our patients, our families, and each other. Our Hotel Dieu Hospital site's mission calls us to follow and live the example of Jesus Christ in caring for those persons who are suffering or experiencing hardships, and to be a compassionate and healing presence to the whole person, body, mind, and spirit.
Here at Hotel Dieu Hospital, our mission is who we are. If you want to know about our mission, feel what it's like to be here with us, know that you're cared for. There is no question that we will not try to answer, and any need that you have, we will do everything within our power to ensure that your need is fulfilled. Our mission is about living the example that Jesus said of being that caring, compassionate, respectful person to each person. And the sisters set us on the right path for that.
One of the big movements now in medicine is actually patient-centered care, and I think the Hotel Dieu mission was way ahead of its time, and the idea that people were included and it was about the patient and about their experience rather than about the doctors or the nurses or the institution. It really has been patient-centered. The Hotel Dieu is a different kind of hospital than most other hospitals I've visited. It's quite clear that it just has a sense of community that's different from other hospitals which have more of a institutional feel.
People are welcomed in simplicity and warmth. They're welcomed as who they are, not who we expect them to be or want them to be. It's just come as you are and we will assist you in any way that we can. And many times people sense that walking through the door. They'll just say, there's something different. And I can't put it in words, but it's a feeling I get when I come to this hospital.
It's not in your job description to be nice, to show respect. It doesn't say that when you're hired, but it does say it in the mission statement. It doesn't matter who you are. Everybody here embodies the mission. And the one word I'd probably describe it as is family here. Because the mission that the sisters have provided us with and its values is the same way that you basically run your family.
We see the sisters regularly in our area, and I think it's really a comfort for people. They come around and speak to family members and to patients, and I think that has a very calming, comforting effect. Often when you're coming to the hospital, it can be daunting or an overwhelming experience, so I think their presence is really important.
I've been close to the sisters for many years. Actually, I've been at Hotel Dieu since 1976. So, Hotel Dieu's been home. The most important thing is to treat everyone, be it staff, volunteers, patients and their families, with kindness, respect, compassion, and empathy.
When you see the sisters who have been doing it for so many years for this community, showing that care and compassion and how important it is to help people and the respect that people have for them around the hospital, it just changes everybody's attitude in here. And so that inspires you to do your best when you're doing your job here and to help others the way they do.
The mission is supporting us in many ways, and we look after all referrals for all the Moose Cree people in the James Bay area for the whole province. And I often think to myself, when we're dealing with people, it's easy to consider the compassionate care at that moment, but with marginalized people, and especially our patients that are coming from so far away, you have to consider all the other aspects. So the challenges and the barriers that they face just to get to an appointment. When we keep all of those things in mind, it keeps us on an even keel, and we're able to maybe respond to a patient with a lot more understanding.
I think new physicians need to understand they need to be involved in the hospital. They need to exemplify the mission in the institution they're working in. And for the Hotel Dieu, the idea of being patient-centered and just going that extra step when it comes to either patient care, communication, being aware of what patients need. I think we make a point of saying, yes, we're seeing 30 to 40 patients, but for that one patient, it's their one experience having a very stressful time and a procedure done. You have to keep that in mind at all times. And I think the mission of the hospital is to maintain the patient at the center of the focus.
I have heard many of the nurses and the staff members say to me, what are we going to do when there are no more sisters left in the hospital to guide us? I have said to them, the sisters have empowered you to take up that torch of compassion and love, to raise it high and to set it aflame, and to challenge every future nursing generation of caregivers to do the same.
How do you want to carry on the role and the history of Hotel Dieu? It's not a faith thing. It's not a Catholic thing. It's something about how we treat each other and we value the presence of another. And many times we call it dignity. That is a hallmark in many ways of what Hotel Dieu respects about everyone. So what will you do to carry on in the name of tender compassion, to bring this sense of presence to others? I can't answer it for you, but I can give you some examples, such as a housekeeper who stayed with a mother when her young child had arrested. It's not that the other professional staff were not conscious of her, but the housekeeper was there. She put her arm around the mother and tried to comfort and be with her. And that is what people do here.